Okay, so the warm-up is just one time through all of these different stations. And basically we have some push-ups mixed in with some different movements that we're gonna do for 30 seconds at a time. So it'll start out 30 seconds of Spidermans, just kind of stretching out a little bit, and then we'll just do one single push-up, and then 30 seconds of some mountain climbers, 2 push-ups, and then we have some down dogs. Let's talk about those just for a second here. For those viewing from their home, you never know if they've seen this one. So I got my cool orange socks on today. I have this new pair of socks coming. It's called camouflage. So it's got a bunch of tiny cat heads on it. Kind of like camouflage, you know? Pretty excited about that.
You'll have to zoom into that when you get them.
Yeah, it's pretty dorky. I don't even have a cat, so that's a weird thing. Okay, so down dog, 30 seconds. So you just want to get in a plank. Keep your arms and legs straight. Push your head through. Try to get those shoulders and upper back, and then back out. We'll just work through those for the 30 seconds. And then we'll go 3 push-ups, 30 seconds of frog hops. Just remember, those are basically a burpee without the push-up. So I'll just reach for the ground, kick out, kick back up and stand, and then I'll go back down. And then we will go 4 push-ups, and then one more 30-second station, which is gonna be some slow burpees. So just kind of warming up the burpee. We don't have any burpees in the workout, so that might make you happy. And
that's a lie.
Wait, I don't think there's burpees, is there? Oh, there is. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I thought there was just push-ups, but I forgot about that. Yeah, I just lied on accident. And then we finished with 5 more. Okay, so I guess I'll just do a running clock because I feel like the
Corey, a couple questions really fast. Active Spider-Man, just out of curiosity, do you have to put your elbow down? Is that the idea, to get a lower stretch, or it's whatever your flexibility is?
Yeah, so a couple things on that one is, good question, is like you want to get into this kind of lunge position, but keep your back knee off the floor, and then make sure that this foot is far enough forward to where it stays flat. And then I like to take my elbow and just kind of reach it inside that shin just to really stretch out the hips a little more. And then if my shoulders feel really tight, I might do a little of this and then back down, So I just kind of like to mix it up a little bit there.
And then the slow burpee, what does that mean? Where are you slow at?
I think it just means like, or what I mean by it is like, not trying to do like, in 30 seconds, don't try to do like 5, but maybe just do like 2 or 3. Just kind of take your time, maybe. You can even like be really intentful about it and like focus on the different positions in a burpee, which I know a lot of times we don't think about. But what I mean by that is like, you could really use it as a chance to think about like your setup with your feet, like your hand placement in relation to your feet before you kick your feet back, and then trying to find that same position on the way up. And then something else I like to think about in the burpee is the hip action. So like, especially when I get tired in workouts, I mean, typically I don't really enjoy burpees, if I'm being honest, but I try to think of things that make it more approachable in my mind. So like, sometimes I just think of like hips, feet, hands, and I'll just kind of think of these different pieces as I go. So what I mean by hips is like, shoot your hips to the ceiling. So you're kind of closing that gap to get your feet back towards your hands. So you can think about that, like on the slow burpee, maybe you just kind of take your time reaching down, kicking out, and then we peel up, think of that hip action, feet right back, and then that little stand and jump, and just not rushing through them as much. That's kind of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so workout today, we have a 2-part workout with no rest between them. So, kind of notice there's a play on rep scheme here. So it starts out with reps of 30, 20, 10 for the first piece. And then once we get through that, we go down to the bottom and it's 10, 20, 30 on the second part there. And we're looking for this thing to take roughly 14 to 20 minutes to complete. So we want to keep that in mind as we work through, or as we choose our dumbbell weights and maybe push-up options and things like that. Yeah, so 14 to like low 20s is kind of the goal. So basically, it's pretty simple. It starts out here with 30 reps of alternating dumbbell, let's see here, power snatches. So let's talk a little bit about those. I know we've done quite a few of them, so I'll just do a quick demo of them. And we'll go from there. So basically, on those, couple things to really be thinking about here is going to be your setup position. So it is, especially in that, it's kind of nice that the big set of 30s first when you're fresh. So you can really focus on keeping that back nice and neutral, making sure that we don't let ourselves start getting twisted. We don't want to be too much like this. We want to try to be as square as we can and drive those hips back, touch the dumbbell, both heads on the floor, right between the feet. So from a side profile, I'm basically almost in the squat position here. So it is a pretty low position for the dumbbell power snatch. And then when we drive it up, I like to imagine that right in front of my toes, there's basically like a glass wall right here. And I can't let that dumbbell go into the glass wall or it'll break it. So I like to think of that visual piece. As I drive up, I want to shrug, pull, rotate, and punch, making sure I'm not swinging out. Swinging out just creates more variable, it's less efficient, and the weight gets heavier the further it gets from your body. So a couple reps might look kind of like this here. Tight shoulders, big drive up, shrug, pull, punch. I'll bring it down, even same thing on the way down. I'm still thinking there's a glass wall here. So I don't want to go here, but instead I'm going to bring it down right in front of my face, even drive my head back just a little bit, switch hands right about eye level, keep it tight, big drive, pull, switch, like so. So we work through 30 reps there. And then once we get through the 30 snatches, we go right into 30 push-ups. So I have a note in here about the push-ups. I'm trying to remember what it says exactly. Says if you might want to think about a variation of the push-up if doing more than 20 in a row is not in the cards for you. So like maybe we do like an elevated one to a chair or from the knees if needed, just to make sure we can keep with that stimulus and get through those 30 reps. And then after we get to the 30 push-ups, we go back to the snatches for 20, then push-ups for 20, snatch for 10, push-up for 10. And then we're done with that first part. We go straight into the next piece, which is going to be 10, 20, 30 of alternating dumbbell hang clean and jerks with burpees, just regular burpees. So with the hang clean and jerks, we kind of want to think about a similar thing as far as keeping that dumbbell close to the body. With the hang, obviously we're not going to go to the ground. So they are a little quicker cycle time, and we are going to alternate every rep with our hands. So we want to be thinking about how to do that efficiently and where the best place for us to do that is. So one thing I like to think of is keeping the bell high on the thighs, neutral spine, big hip drive. But then again, I don't want to let it swing out and then kind of smash into me. Instead, I want to think, once I pop up, I'm going to kind of shrug, keep that elbow sort of low, and then sneak under it. So I'm keeping it tight to the body here, boom. And then I'm going to go with you could either do push jerk or just a push press, kind of depending on how heavy it is for you. So I like to try to catch in a dip and then just drive it straight up in basically a push press. And then when I get tired, I might start dropping under it. So a couple reps might look like this: high on the thighs, pop. Oh, sorry, let's go again. Here, catching the dip and then drive. I'll switch at eye level, boom, like so. And kind of find that rhythm. Keep it nice and tight. We'll work through those. Again, alternating hands each rep, and then we're going to go right into just 10 regular burpees, and then 20 of each, 30 of each, and then we're done. And I think that's it. If we don't have the dumbbell, we could go for the snatches. We could go ground to overhead with like an odd object, and then we could do clean and jerk for the clean and jerk part as our substitutions there. I'll give you guys some time to prepare. Let me know if you have questions. Strength and accessory piece here. Pretty short and sweet today. For 5 minutes, what we're doing is working through this on each side, a bicep curl with a strict press. And the one thing that changes is you do one curl every time, but then the strict press, you add a rep each time. And you just keep doing that for 5 minutes. You just keep adding a rep to that strict press. So the movement, really simple movement, but we want to make sure we keep the integrity of the movement. So basically, we're just doing a bicep curl to the shoulder and then a strict press. Then I'll go down, I'll switch sides. Boom, that would be round 1. Round 2, I'd go back to the first hand. Now I would do a curl, but now 2 presses, 1, 2, still control it down all the way, switch hands, curl, 1, 2, keeping that core tight, trying to control it on the way down to get as much bicep in there as I can. And then I would go curl, 3 presses, 2, 3, back down, and switch, etc. So we just keep adding a strict press to each set there. And we're just gonna track how many rounds and reps of this we could get in 5 minutes. We wanna use something that you feel like you could probably do at least 10 to 15 strict press in a row when you're fresh, if you needed to. Realizing that there's a good chance we won't even get to 10 in a row, but you're gonna start getting pretty tired as we accumulate through this. I think that's pretty much it. So I'll give you guys a second to kind of figure out what dumbbell to use. You know, maybe 35 to 40 pounds for the dudes or something in that realm. If you have a lighter one, that's fine because you could just do more. If we don't have a dumbbell, if you're at home, you could do curl with the odd object and press. Same kind of concept. You would just do it with both hands at a time.